corpsman ran over and jumped on me and said, "Lieutenant, you've been shot." I said, "Damn it, Doc, I know that." You know, I bleeding all over the place.
I've read a lot of the stuff your guys have said about you.
All lies, all lies.
Yeah, right.
How many grenades did you end up even throwing?
I threw 20.
We would have got along in war.
I understand that you captured a 20-foot python.
Yeah.
All right, I'll bite it.
This is a Marine
In
event.
Vietnam.
In Vietnam, man.
Say hi to Eli. He's racially ambiguous. And Brandon, his hair is fucking fabulous. And Donut, a dark joke disposition. And there's a fat electrician. Welcome to Unsubscribe.
Hey, what is up, everyone? It is our favorite month. It's November, which means we are doing the Veterans Month. 2 new pieces of merch, amazing pieces of merch. We have TBI Fridays. The sun will come out tomorrow, unfortunately. 100% of the profits will go towards nonprofits at the end of the month. That's right, we're donating everything we make off of these at the end of the month to some amazing veteran nonprofit organizations. We are also doing a golden ticket, which we will fly you out to one of the last 2 live shows in December. Your choice. That trip and hotel is on us, of course. And we will be giving away some Turtle Beach headsets, the new Unsub Jump Out side zips, some merch, some Pepperbox subscriptions, and some Echelon. And anything else you buy on that website, a portion of that will also be going towards these amazing causes. And we're doing the same with Echelon. A portion of any Echelon purchased will be going towards those nonprofits. And during Veterans Day month, we are doing an amazing deal with the subscription program, 10% off plus free shipping. And then use code UNSUB to get 10% off of any of your orders on single cases. Got it. You are entered for the golden takeout on either site. So go snack some TBI Fridays, snack some Echelon. Let's raise some money and change some lives in the veteran community.
You all ready?
Yeah, let me just check this out.
You get it first, brother. You get it first. Did you do good?
I have one comment. I've had coffee all over the world. This is the best coffee I've ever tasted.
He's trying to steal my wife.
Yeah.
He's stealing Sam already.
Today on the podcast, we have Mr. Steal Your Girl.
Major steal your girl in the house right now.
Major Steal Your Girl goes
Major
crazy.
steal your girl is so good.
Oh, Major loves this coffee. That's what it is.
I'm gonna readjust this, and you're good. Boom. And
Well,
then we'll start with this countdown.
Alrighty.
Everyone ready? Ready? 3, 2, 1. I accidentally popped. I pre-popped. Nick?
It happens.
Was I supposed to open this can here?
Oh, you're good. You're good. You're good. You got your coffee, brother.
All right.
Hi, welcome to the Unsubscribed Podcast. I'm joined here today by Eli Doubletap, Major Jim Capers, Brandon Herrera, and myself, Nick.
And today is going to be an awesome episode. We have been,
I'm excited.
Dude, we are so... Let me get this adjusted for you so you're taken care of, brother, and you just get to have fun and chat.
Okay.
We have Major Jim. Brother, I told the guys the first time we met in DC, I was like, oh my God, I met one of the coolest humans, and holy shit, his story is amazing.
Oh, I didn't know you guys already met.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was how, yeah.
Gotcha.
The whole team, after meeting him, was like, oh, 100%. So when I went down to DC for the Purple Heart, they honored 100 Purple Heart recipients, I believe, right? Right. And then I walked over shaking hands, and then I seen him. I'm like, holy shit, you got me beat, bro. He has like a stack of you got 3 Purple Hearts.
Yeah.
It should probably be more.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Dude, yes. Brandon, do you know how in depth do you know some of his stories?
I've seen some of the interviews, but I don't know the full story front to back.
Okay.
So I'm excited for this episode. Sounds like you've got quite a storied history, or a service record, rather.
Well, it's good for me to be here.
Oh, thank you so much.
Happy to have you.
You and your team coming out. Oh, we, Unsub, got, and the audience got you a doorbell. We got you, we got you a little gift. Open that thing up, brother. This is from all of us.
Well, it looks pretty good so far. Let's see what we got in here.
Hope you love boxes.
Yeah. Now, Frank said that you just have no watches.
Sound like Frank?
He said you have trash taste. I think that was his choice of words.
Oh, wow. Hey, sweetheart. Boy, it is a watch.
We got you. You figured OD green. You like that color?
Yeah.
Good.
Boy, this is really nice.
That is it's a Hamilton. It's a military watch, and
Yeah.
one thing from Unsub, we always just try to pay our respect to y'all for what.
Well, thank you so
all-
much. I'll put this back in here if you don't mind.
Oh, of course.
And I want to put it on right now.
That's really nice is a much better review for Hamilton than, well, this is a watch.
Yeah.
Put that on their website.
Oh, it's upside down. There we go.
See that?
Because
That's my niece who just walked in. She's an Air Force veteran.
Oh, well, thank you for your service. Dude, it's a family of veterans. We'll put this.
No kidding.
Get the boxes out your way. Okay.
Because isn't that how you guys first started talking at the Purple Heart thing? Is he made a comment about your watch?
Yeah, so it was him and Zach, and then Zach was helping. He's a J-Tech, and of course, 1 degree of separation. Zach and I were talking. He's seen one of the watches. He's like, "That's a nice watch." We started talking. Then he's like, "Man, you actually watch Unsub, but you should have Jim on." I was like, "Done and done." And then he told me the story because, as Zach said, he was like, "This is the only dude I know with a confirmed knife kill." I was like, "What?" I was like, "Holy shit!" I was like, "Done. We are going to get him on then." And then he knew my buddy Holtz. They served together, and Holtz is the one I deployed with, and they trained together. And now he helps from time to time help with your guys' team. So I was like, tiny ass world. And now we get you, the literal poster boy of the Marines and the first African American.
To be field commissioned
Holy shit.
during Vietnam when field commissions were not normal anymore. After World War II in Korea, field commissions are not a normal thing, and he still got one.
That is wild.
Yeah. I was a staff sergeant, and all the officers were killed in the first 3 months. So my colonel called me in his office and took off my staff sergeant Chevins and put on lieutenant bars. And I walked out in the rain, and there were some guys out there that saluted me for the first time. It was interesting.
I bet going from enlisted to that and
Yeah.
no OSAT or anything.
No, they didn't send me home for any officers training. So,
Wild.
yeah,
So you joined as Marine,
yeah.
and now you did basic training during the much harder times. Mm-hmm. What was, even basic training, what was that like?
You're kidding me. for Marine training.
Boot camp, sorry. Holy
Yeah.
shit, I am so sorry. It's going to hit me.
Yeah, boot camp for Marines back in those days. I joined in 1956.
Damn.
Just when they had lost six Marines who drowned in Paris Island, which is a notorious boot camp. So I went through the 3 months and did pretty good. And after that, they sent us to combat training for a month. But we didn't get the month in because there was a war in the Middle East. The Syrians and the Egyptians were fighting. So they sent my unit over to the Mediterranean, through the Mediterranean. And we didn't land or anything. We just went over there to show force. Say, hey, we're here now, and you better behave yourself. Eisenhower was president, and we were prepared to land, but we didn't finish up our combat training, so they brought us back to the States, and we started all over again. And my first 3 years, that's what we did. About every 6 months, we deployed to the Middle East. And now they're still at it.
50.
You were in Lebanon the first
Yeah,
time?
Lebanon. Yeah, I went to Lebanon. And Lebanese and the Syrians and everybody was at battle over there during those days. I don't remember what the problems were, to tell you the truth, but they've been fighting over there for 2,000 years.
I say I don't think they remember what the problem started as either.
I hate how true that is. Why are we fighting?
This is what we do.
What's your name? Tony. You, Tony.
Now, you going into it, I know all Marines are infantry. Did you actually go in being like, I want to do infantry, I want to be a grunt, I want to do like reconnaissance?
Well, I did 3 years as a grunt. Then I thought, well, I'm doing pretty good. So rather than be discharged, I decided that, well, I'll go ahead and re-enlist. So I re-enlisted for 6 years. And then they sent me, what the hell they sent me? Sent me to California. And I joined the special organization, the First Force Reconnaissance Company. And they did pretty good. I went to jump school and became a diver and, you know, all of the various things you learn to kill people 50 different ways. And I spent 3 years there.
So you told me on the way here you had 550 jumps?
I made 550 parachute jumps.
Static and then halo or both?
Yeah, static and free fall.
And then you did combat diving too?
Yeah.
Scuba? My brother. First off, aren't you black? How can you swim?
And we're almost 10 minutes in.
Come on. No, I can swim. I'm a master diver.
Dude.
I made 3 combat swims in Vietnam. Yeah, we did a swim under an aircraft carrier, almost 1,000 meters. We did that, and while we were under the aircraft carrier, there was a school of sharks showed up. This was in Nha Trang, Vietnam, and we swam the whole distance of the ship looking for mines under the ship because the USS Card had been blown up by the Vietnamese divers. So we wanted to make sure that we had 3,000 Marines and sailors aboard that aircraft carrier. So I took my team of divers down and we swam the whole length of the aircraft carrier. And at the end, we saw the shark show up. And one of my men, everybody was tied in with a buddy line. His buddy line came loose and he was drifting out where the sharks were. And this is where you have to make a decision. You don't think about it. You make the decision. And he was drifting out where the tiger sharks were. And I unhooked my buddy line and swam out and got him and brought him back.
Holy, how was it hard even navigating in the pitch black essentially at that time?
Well,
and no buddy line? That's wild.
well, he was drifting toward the sharks, and I made a decision right here, right there, to go out and get him. And I swam out and got him and hooked him into my buddy line and came back.
Which
We made 3 combat dives in Vietnam.
what was the other 2? And just for everyone watching, this man, that's the thing you always did, is put everyone else above yourself. You have so many stories of that, and it is literally why we're so stoked for you and honored for you to be here, is because you. It's rare to meet an individual like you where you're like, hey, these are my brothers in arms. Their lives are more important than my own. And you do that every time. And
That's true.
It's an honor to meet you, brother.
Well, that's good to be here. It's an honor to be alive.
So what were the other 2 combat dives you did?
Well, 2 Marines at a base that was not too far from where I was in country. We'd gotten ashore by that time. And 2 of them were blown up by a mine. And so I was asked to go out there and find the bodies and bring the bodies up. So it took my team of divers, and I had a young Navy SEAL, Doug Burwell. He was a corpsman, but he was one of the SEALs that I took with me. And of course, we were around long before the SEALs were. That's what we did, and the SEALs come along later on. And I had a couple of them with me, good guys. Burwell's still alive. But we went out to where the kid was, and we went down and got him and brought his body up. The sharks had eaten him. Well, not the sharks, they were fish, regular fish. They had eaten his body up. What was, there wasn't much left. Then ready to make it graphic, but we got him and brought him up. And while we were down there, we found mines and explosives in the bottom of the river. So I figured we couldn't leave that stuff down there because they could use it against us. So I went back and got all the equipment, and we went down and we dove for 2 days and brought up over 200 rounds of ammunition and mines and things they had stored down there to use against us. We brought it all up. Every round we brought it all up.
How long did that take?
It took us 2 days.
Damn. Hey guys, you want to see something?
Not again.
Those are true classics.
Oh.
You want to touch it, Brandon? Cody, you want to touch it?
Oh.
Brandon?
Show you have a degree in HR, right?
That's right, today's sponsor is True Classic. Cody, what are you wearing?
I'm wearing a True Classic shirt right now. It fits really well around the arms and the chest. It makes you look bigger than you are.
Dude, Cody, you actually look jacked right now.
On a personal note, with my personal endorsement to True Classic, that's no shit, all the pants and the shirts that I wear. Like the undershirts, I always wear True Classic. The pants, always True Classic. They're stretchy. Beli's wearing True Classics right now.
A lot of shirts that you get just off the shelf aren't really cut. They're just generic unisex stuff. They're not really cut to look good. True Classic stuff is actually tailored to fit the male form, which is, actually helpful if you want to not look like a slob.
Peak male performance. But now imagine my dick, because that's where I'm wearing underwear.
Yeah.
Now imagine my dick. Eli Quabus, 2025.
TrueClassic.com.
Use code UNSUB.
Now, we've been messing around with t-shirts and been in that industry for years now, and we can truly say that True Classic has some of the greatest material and greatest fitting that we've ever seen.
So forget overpriced designer brands. Skip the cheap throwaway stuff. True Classic is built for comfort, built to last, and built to give back.
You can even find them at Target or Costco, or you can go to trueclassic.com/unsub to try for yourself.
If you want to level up your clothes for the summer or coming into the fall weather, head over to trueclassic.com/unsub.
So you've done a lot of incredible things.
Yeah.
But one of the things that I do in my videos and my research is I like to find the crazy things and the funny things that people have accomplished. I understand that you captured a 20-foot python.
All right, I'll bite.
Yeah. We named him Gorma because Gorma Powell was a popular TV program back in those days. So we were coming back from a mission, and my point man stopped. I said, what's going on now? And he run across this snake. So I went up and looked at him. He was huge. So I figured, well, let's grab this son of a bitch and take him back. But then we had to cross a river, and I didn't know we could get this snake and cross the river and climb the mountain back up to the base. But what we did, we took a poncho, and they jumped on the snake on his head and tied him up and put him in a sack. So we're going to try to get him back across the river. So we go in with this snake. He was huge and he was heavy. He weighed about almost 200 pounds. And so
This is just for shits and giggles.
Yeah.
This is a marine event.
In Vietnam.
In Vietnam, man. We got to the river.
I love this.
Yeah, we got to the river. Now, how the hell are we going to get this snake across the river?
Side
and it was
quest.
flowing pretty fast. So we figured, no, we can't do that. So we dropped the snake, and then we swam the river and climbed the mountain and got back to our base. So while this is a place called Quezon. There was a bloody battles up at Quezon, and we were holding back the North Vietnamese with our small base. So we climbed the mountain and we got back there, and some of the guys said, "Hey, where's that snake you guys were talking about?" I said, "Well, we couldn't climb the mountain, couldn't swim the river with them." So a helicopter pilot heard about it, and we took my team and put it in a helicopter, and he flew down and landed on the river, rocks in the river, and our team jumped out and got the snake. And Marines do a lot of stuff like that. And put the snake back on the helicopter, and we got up to our base on the mountain. Then we took the snake out and we dug a hole and put the snake in this hole. It was huge and long, and we took some pictures with him on our shoulders and things like that. I got a few. And his head was huge, big head. And we had a dog named King. King was an extremely large German Shepherd. He was our war dog.
Hell
yeah. And as a matter of fact, I saw him kill 2 enemy soldiers, rather than make it graphic, but he jumped on them and ripped them pretty well. But I'll leave that part out. But that's what he did. He was a killer. He was trained to do that. But he was a scout dog also. He could smell different things. But at any rate, we got up there, and King smelled the snake. And he started getting agitated to, what the hell is this? And we had a snake in the hole. So we figured that, well, I don't know how to feed this damn snake. So Sergeant Yerman took the Jeep and went out in town and come back with his duck. He had this duck. Yeah, I'm laughing too because it's funny as all hell.
I'm dying.
Yeah.
This is his Marines.
Well, if he ducks, I don't know.
You're in like a heavy combat zone, and you're like, "Yo, this snake though." And then they flew a helicopter.
He's literally repelling enemy ambush. Like, guys, we got to feed the snake. Go get a duck.
Go to town and get some shit. I don't know.
When we brought the snake back, I brought the duck back, and Gorma, the snake is in this hole. We brought the snake back, and the guys put the duck in this hole with the snake, and they tied one leg of the duck. Now, he was quacking, and the snake was over there by himself, wasn't bothering anybody. So we figured that the snake is probably going to eat this duck because, snakes don't eat any canned food. We couldn't give him something. He had to eat live food. So this is a riot. All of the guys are coming around, taking pictures of them duck in this hole with a snake, whatever. But the good part was, the good part was we come back to see if this snake had eaten this duck. And we looked in the hole, and the duck was there quacking, and the snake was dead as a door down, laying there dead. And the snake was still alive, quacking. We thought the snake was going to eat the duck, but somehow, I don't know why the snake died, but he was there, alive, and the duck was there quacking. So we got the snake out of the hole, and they skinned him, took the skin off the snake, and they gave the meat to the villagers. And we took pictures of that, but it wasn't funny. But, I felt sorry for I don't want to happen to the duck. That another story. It never happened to the duck. But Gorma, the snake there, we got a lot of pictures of him. And we took the skin off of him. And some of the guys made belts out of the snake skin. He was a python, or what we call boa stricta, them large. But I took a picture of him with the snake around my shoulders, and he was heavy. And they put the snake on my shoulders to take a picture. So I felt the snake trying to constrict me, and I was holding his head in my left hand. and he was squeezing me. And I told Sergeant Yerman, get this damn snake off of me because he just may try to eat me or something. But I kept him on my shoulder and we took some pictures. He was huge, about 18 feet long.
Well, I'm sorry he died before you could get any useful information out of him.
Yeah, he didn't talk much. But
That's so wild. A duck is what. Walking back, I'd be like, wait, why is the duck alive? What happened when we were gone?
Telling you. Dangerous.
Yeah. Oh, my God.
Somebody made a lot of money on that betting pool.
yeah,
So I remember another story. There was some kind of competition or a course where you had to lead a group of men and traverse part of a jungle. And I think I heard that your team broke the course record in some, because you had commandeered some canoes.
we did that in Panama. They dropped us in Panama before going to Vietnam. And I had a team. It was pretty good. And the whole company had to traverse miles of jungles and mountains, things like that. And my team, we took off and we got some canoes and we canoed across the river.
How'd you get the canoes?
They were belonged to the Panamanian civilians.
Just acquired them?
Yeah, we acquired them. The Marines never stealing anything, so we quietly acquired them, got in the boats, and went across the river. And we broke the record for that type of course, in the jungles. And I was their leader, and that's one reason they looked at me through the training and through the operations in Vietnam to get this commission. Everybody didn't get those types of battlefield commission. And I was a staff sergeant, and Sergeant Major came to get me one day and said, Sergeant, the colonel want to see you. I said, uh-oh, am I in trouble?
It's the canoes, isn't it?
The what? Never mind.
Damn canoes.
You know what's better than burning the boats? Stealing them. Those are my boats.
Acquiring.
Well, I got in the colonel's office, and he was a good guy. His name, I forget his name, he's gone now. But he commissioned me, took off my staff sergeant Chevins, and put on lieutenant bars, and shook my hand and had me sign some papers. And the sergeant major said something to me. I can't remember what it was now. But Sergeant Major Skinner was a good man. He was our battalion sergeant major. And he walked me out at the colonel's office and pardon my language, my niece is here. He said, don't get up. And I didn't.
That's for damn sure. You were one of the first Force Recon. It was a newer. How long had Force Recon been around when you actually joined?
I think it was 4 years.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
wild.
I joined and went to jump school and scuba school and demo school and martial arts and all of this shit, the commandos. And we had a couple of British commandos that helped us with our training. Years later, I went to England and trained with the British commandos.
SAS.
Good bunch of guys.
How'd you get selected to be one of the first Force Recon Marines? I mean, was there like a tryout process? It was so new at the time.
No, you volunteer and you go in with the CO. And the one I had, he's kind of a crazy guy. I'm in there being interviewed to see if they're going to select me. And he had a grenade on his window sill. I mean, I knew what a grenade was because I'd fought in Lebanon. He's sitting there looking at me. And he reached over and pull this grenade and pull the pin. And it was a phony grenade, it wasn't real, and threw it on the ground to see what I was going to do. I walked over and picked it up and handed it back to him. Hand it back to him. And they selected me.
Approved.
Yeah, selected me. Then I went off to demo school and all the things you can think of to make you a commando. And I went to Fort Benning for the jump program.
And you did, again, static, but what's crazy is free fall.
Yeah.
And this is when there was no wind tunnels. You had to do the little board on your,
Yeah.
that is wild.
Yeah.
It is you like floating's hard. You find that out really fast when you're in free fall. It is one of the hardest things. And the only training up to that point is that board, and then you're jumping out of a plane at 20,000 feet is wild to me.
We weren't at 20,000 at first. The free fall program, you jump out and you stabilize your body, and then you have your toggles which help you maneuver the parachute, and you hit the ground at about 15, 20 miles an hour. That's why my legs don't work now. Knees are shot. But the parachute program, I became a jump master, where, my job now is to get my guys in on the drop zone and make sure they didn't die getting there. But I did that for 20 years.
So you're a master diver and a jump master.
And a jump master, right.
Okay, cool.
Two opposite ends of the spectrum there.
It's the highest and lowest point a human can be. All right, he's going to go get him.
I never thought about that. You fight below sea level and well above sea level.
We'll see about getting you that Space Force commission.
Brandon, what kind of shirt is that?
I'm glad you asked, Eli. This is a poncho.
Brandon and I actually wear poncho so much, we constantly end up wearing the same nice poncho shirt.
Good thing nobody's ever pointed that out before.
Now, if you guys have ever seen one of our live shows or this podcast in general, you'll see Brandon and I wearing these incredibly comfortable, great-looking shirts all the time.
Finn, pull it up with pictures. They're literally always wearing the same shirt.
I got turned on a poncho like a year ago, been wearing them ever since. Personally prefer, I think this is the Western because it's got the pearl snaps, because it's hot in Texas and I like something breathable.
Here's the thing I find really cool. Brandon, do the glasses trick.
So ponchos have this neat little thing in the pocket where you just take your glasses.
Nope, the other one.
Be more specific!
Who gives a shit about that?
All right.
Watch everyone.
So if you got fat fingers and you smudge your glasses all the time, the bottom of the shirt actually acts, it has like a microfiber, so you can clean your glasses.
I make him clean my phones.
He does.
I like the hidden little pocket on the breast.
Wait, what?
Right over here. Got a little zipper pocket.
I didn't even know about that one. Is that where you hold Cody's heart?
And his drugs.
Things you might need to know. Poncho has put a lot of thought and detail into each one of their shirts. Oh, holy
They're soft. They're really soft.
Yo, what?
That's my one thing is fucking fabric sensitivity. I don't wear uncomfortable shirts. This is comfy as
That's why we wear them all the time.
So Poncho's got a bunch of great styles. The original, Western, denim, and ultralight.
If you're looking for the perfect shirt, something breathable, and stands out in a good way, give Poncho a try.
Go to ponchooutdoors.com/unsub and get $10 off your first order.
That's PONCHO outdoors.com/unsub.
What was the harder school for you? Was it jump or was it diver?
I think the diving program was a little hard. I went through that in Florida.
Gravity doesn't do the work for you in diving.
That was about a month course, and down in Key West, Florida.
Beautiful area.
Yeah, well, I did that for a month. A lot of it you're in the classroom, and a lot of it, you're in the water. I mean, you're in the water all the time. And we did hydrographic surveys. When they drop you in, and you have to see how close the water is to the land so we can land our troops. So it was a hard program for me because I'd been a grunt. I hadn't been swimming like that. And when I first got there, I was the only black guy in the class. And you alluded to some of those funny things. But I got there, and the commander of the school told me he was sending me home. I said, may I ask you why? He said, because we have medical documentation that can't swim. I said, which were you talking to, Commander? He said, we're just going to send you home. We don't want you to drown in our program. I said, you're making a mistake. I can swim. And I can swim, you know, a little bit of bravado. Said, I can probably swim better than anybody you got in this class. He said, well, you're not going to drown here, so I'm sending you home. I didn't want to kiss the guy's ass, but I just says, hey, you know, just give me a shot at it. If I don't make it, I don't make it. But I guarantee you, I will make it. He said, well, I'm going to give you give you an opening program, but, you know, I think I'm making a mistake. I said, no, you're not. So I start the program, and the first week was kind of difficult. Like your Hell Week program you read about, they kill you. I mean, they do. I mean, you do more push-ups, you know, and sit-ups, and just running and swimming. And then at night you study. Then at night they take you back to the water and put you back in the water again. And you have to do the night swims, you know. When they take you out on a boat, took you out on a boat, then you had to swim the shore. And you have to, like the boat, then you have to swim the shore and hit a target at night. So, you know, it was tough, but I was honor graduate.
No shit.
Yeah, I was honor graduate.
Oh, when you're swimming, are you in full kit when you're swimming, or do they have like, are you in uniform, or what are you wearing at that time?
Well, when we first started, you know, we're in shorts.
Okay.
Shorts, and it was January 1966.
A little cold.
And it was cold as hell down there. I think the whole citrus fruit in Florida froze. But we went through the whole course in January 1966. Then I come home from scuba school, and then we left to go to Panama. Then we left to go to Bermuda and places like that. So it's just training, you're ready to go to go in country.
I'm still reeling on the idea that there was medical documentation in the United States Marine Corps.
This was the Navy. He said that
Or Navy.
good to swim, but, you know.
I'd love to see that doctor's note.
That was what he said to me, and it just made me a little irritated. I was irritated, but I knew I had to get in this course. I was the only black guy there, but, you know, I was angry now.
Oh, I bet.
You know, because he's challenging me. And the sad part about it, after we graduated, went through the whole month program, and we were all lined up to graduate, and the chief came up to me and told me I was honor graduate. But the commander, as we were lined up getting our certificates, he walked past me. He didn't shake my hand.
Even though you were
1966. I was honor graduate, but he didn't shake my hand. He walked past me.
garbage human.
But, you know.
I would have saluted your ass. I'd be like, yo, what the? Holy shit.
That was a world for black guys back in those days. But I had to suck it up because I had a lot of men that had trained with me. And now we're going to war. You know, the training is over. Joke's over now. We're going to go fight and kill people. Or a lot of us got killed. You know, so came home. Matter of fact, on the way from the scuba program, we were flying home, and the aircraft caught on fire. And the crew chief came back and said, we're going to have to land. And it was a commercial plane. They had other senior citizens on the plane, and we were teenagers and mostly young guys. So they landed the plane in an open field. And my guys, didn't get off the plane until they went and got all the civilians off. They went got the elderly citizens off, and we stayed out there, and the plane was burning, but the ambulance came, and they took care of the plane. Then some vehicles came and took us to Miami, and we got a bus came and took us to Miami. Then we got another plane and flew us to North Carolina. So it was always something, but we overcame it.
Always training. That is. And again, I can't, for the individuals out there that don't understand going through combat diver, halo, jump, everything, and then back to back, especially at that time, is like tip my hat to you for that level of dedication and how difficult that would have been.
Thank you. Thank you.
Especially in the 60s. Mm-hmm. This was in the 60s?
Yeah, 66. And in 67, we were in combat.
You were already married at this point, right?
Yeah, I was married. I had a child.
So, I mean, what I get, and that's the part that I haven't really seen anybody touch on in your interviews and stuff. Like, you've done all this incredible stuff in the military, but you also did that at the same point in time that you were married. You had a wife and son back home. Your son had special needs.
Yeah.
And it's the 1960s and the civil rights movement's going on. So you're leaving home to go fight in war with your wife at home, and there's like civil unrest going on at the same time. How did you deal with that mentally?
Well, I was a patriot. I believed in this country from day one. When I was a child, had gotten sick, and my father gave me to a white family. This is just the history that I was told. It's probably true, because back in those days, childhood diseases were common. We lost, and mostly African Americans who were just, wasn't that long out of slavery. And we ran picked the cotton, cropped the tobacco, working for the white guys, and say the white man, but some of them weren't all bad. And this family that when I got sick, they took me in, and obviously I was cured. And then I came back to my family, and we ended up leaving South Carolina and moving to Baltimore, where I went to school. Then the Korean War started, and I saw the Marines all over the TV. We didn't have TVs in the South, but we got to Baltimore and we had our first TV, the old black and white TVs. And the kid over here was not born at that time, but, we got there and moved into what we call the ghetto, which is where the Germans were during World War II, the ghetto. And I didn't look at it as a ghetto. It was a South Baltimore, and we brought our habits from the South to the city, and there were not many jobs, and it wasn't a good life, but we made the best we could. And so...
When you say you brought your habits, what exactly do you mean?
Survival, but the goodness that I found along the way, like I said, that white family, I don't know who they are, and there's some research now they're trying to figure out, who it was. They're trying to figure out the doctor that attended me. Probably wasn't that many doctors at that time, but there's some folks in South Carolina who are trying to figure out what happened to this guy. How did he live? And now that I've been up for the Medal of Honor, people send me flowers these days. I get flowers, I get cards, I get letters. I wonder if they know something that I don't know. They say, I'm getting my flowers before I get out of here. But it's been nice. My house is full of flowers that folks have sent to me.
Flowers are one thing. It's usually the only time you receive flowers is at your funeral. So it's a really good gesture. Feels good getting flowers as a dude. You're like, oh, thank you.
Well, my place is already prepared up in Arlington National Cemetery. While I join my wife and my son, they're there waiting for me. And I'm not worried about it. I think I got a good chance of getting into heaven. My wife and my son are waiting for me. But on the other side, I wasn't the nicest guy. I was not the nicest guy because I was trained to kill people in the worst way. And I did that for too long, maybe. But I feel that God will have mercy on me and let me get into the pearly gates. But then again, he might say, hey, you shouldn't have done that. But I don't think so. I believe in God, and I think I'll see my wife and my son again.
I believe the same. You got forgiveness, and that's the one thing, especially Jesus, that's what he sacrificed himself for. So I think you're good to go.
Yeah, I hope so.
All of your favorite NBA players are back.
Both were right.
I'm just waiting for Cody to say it.
Packing menthols, any car.
DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NBA. It's the place to bet on those NBA stars this season.
New customers just bet $5 and get 3 months of NBA League Pass.
What's that?
If I know.
Sports.
I don't know, but you're also going to win $300 if your bet wins in free bets.
Paid in bonus bets?
Correct.
Now, something I do understand.
You can't say that word.
Understand?
Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code UNSUB.
That's code UNSUB.
Bet $5 and get 3 months of League Pass.
Plus, get $300 in bonus bets if your bet wins. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY. What? Hope, New York. Hope, NY?
Hopeny.
Hopeny.
Brandon just said Hopeny, not Hope, New York.
It's spelled Hopeny.
So much better.
Or text Hopeny 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-8789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Somebody else take over. I'm having a stroke.
Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas, pass through... What?
Yeah.
Pass-through per wager tax may apply in Illinois. God damn. This is one sentence.
21 plus age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. Restrictions apply. Bet must win to receive bonus bets, which expire in 7 days. Minimum odds required. NBA League Pass auto renews until canceled. Additional terms at dkng.co/audio. Limited time offer.
You can't win big if you don't bet big.
Sun Tzu said that.
What's one of your favorite stories for your wife and for your kiddo?
Well, I met her in high school. I saw her walking down the hall, and I looked at her and I fell in love. First time I saw her, I was in love. I went home and I told my mom, I said, Mom, guess what? She said, sit down, son, we'll talk about it. And we went through high school together. Her name was Dorothy, and I called her Dottie. And I still write to her. She's been gone some years now, but sometime I have the desire to tell her what I'm doing. And when I get back on Friday, I'll write to her about how well you guys treated me. I'll tell her. I can't mail the letters, but I just tell them that, guess what, sweetheart? I was in San Antonio, and she knows all of this anyway. She's watching me. What I do write to her, and I have the letters. Frank told me the other day, and I should put them in the mailbox. Maybe God will find the way to get them to Dottie. No, I do write to her. It's just a relief for me. I'll sit down and write up to her when I get back on Friday about this experience. And I'll say, guess what? My niece was there listening. Even though she joined the Air Force. I thought maybe the kid would join the Marines, but no, she joined the Air Force.
That was whiplash.
Hey, Dottie, thinking of you. Yeah. By the way, Air Force, what?
Well, at least to my understanding, you got to share over 50 years with her, which is fantastic.
We were married 50 years.
Dang.
And she died a week after we celebrated our 50th anniversary.
Condolences, brother.
She died in the hospital there in my town, and she died of cancer. And I was holding her hand, standing by her bedside, and I was holding her hand, and she winked at me. That was Dottie Capers. She winked at me, squeezed my hand, then she closed eyes. But I'll see her again. She was the love of my life, and I'm still single.
You,
Hadn't been able to find another Dottie Capers, so I've been widowed all these years. And I thought about it, but I don't go on dates or things like that.
We can't find you on Tinder.
No. But I had a great marriage. She stuck with me all those years when I deployed overseas, and when I came home to Bethesda, I was all shot up, and she came there and she asked for me, and they said, no, there's no black lieutenant here. I was there, but they had never seen a black Marine Corps officer before. So eventually, being Dottie Capers, she found me. I was on the 14th floor of Bethesda Hospital, and she had my son with her, and my son, some kind of way, walked into the room and walked to my bed, and he put his hand on my body and he said, "Hello, Dad." He's blind, special needs, but we wondered, how did he get into the room? He got away from Dottie and got into the room. He'd never been there before, and put his hand on my body and said, "Hello, Dad." These are things you wonder about, special needs, and how in the world did a child like that, get into that room. Dottie was right with him. She was chasing him, and she came in, and they, I wanted to see them, but I was angry. The demons had come home. And, I lost all those men. I've been banged up. Both my legs were broken. I still had bullet fragments in me. And I looked out the window. I didn't look at her because I was ashamed, because in a way, in those letters, I told her that, well, when I get home, we're going to go dancing. We're going to go to different places. We're going to enjoy the rest of our lives. This is over now. This is over. But then I come home, I couldn't walk, couldn't hardly talk. I only weighed 120 pounds. I lost all of the weight. My body was scarred, and the corpsman had cleaned me up because blood was all over my bed, and I couldn't use the bathroom, so they'd come in and clean me up, put a pot under me, and that was the world that I saw. But when Dottie came in, she was okay with everything, and she held my hand and kissed me and said, "Welcome home." But me, I was still in combat. I was still in those jungles. I could still hear those cries of men dying, But Dottie Capers was Dottie Capers. And she sat there with me and told me it was going to be okay. We're still going to go dancing. I was never a good dancer anyway, but the thought was being with them, and it happened. I don't know, after a year, of being there in that hospital, I look out the window, and matter of fact, one day, and I was in pain. They had, they were doing surgery on me of this or that, and I looked out the window. I said, I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to do this anymore. So if I can open the window, just get me to the window, and I'll jump out. So you can understand why warriors do this. Why do you commit? Because the pain was so severe. You know, I thought I was pretty tough, but after a while, when they gave me shots for the pain, I got to the point where I was so weakened that I would set my clock up because I got shots every 4 hours. So what I would do, I would take my clock and set it up, and I'd call the nurse and tell the nurse, hey, it's time for my shot. She said, no, it's not 4 hours yet. I said, yeah, come look at my watch. That was a time when I was at my weakest. When I looked out the window, it didn't matter anymore because the pain was so severe, you know, and I thought I couldn't deal with it anymore. But God stepped in and said, yeah, let's stay with it. Let's keep it going. And I did. But the nights in that little room there, I could hear the sounds of battle. You know, I only weighed 122 pounds, you know, scars all over me. And I'd lie there at night in that little bed there, and the wounds began to seep in the bed, and I still had blood on my hands from the war. Blood was all in my hands because I couldn't take a shower. They wouldn't give me no showers. So they just sort of dib and dabbed, you know, to keep the blood from flowing. They had some bandages on me, but they didn't stick. I had skin grafts and all those things. But when I came through Quezon, and they hit us hard with those 120 rockets, and I run across this Marine who was lying there. It was getting dark, and his head was crooked. I said, damn, you know, he was dead. And I took his head to try to straighten his head to be perpendicular with his body. And when I grabbed his hand, his brains fell out in my hands. His whole head was cracked, and the blood and I was just trying to straighten his head, but now I'm trying to deal with the brains in my hands. And I didn't have enough water to wash it off, so I kept his brains in my hands, you know? And sometimes I'll get up at night and go to the bathroom and wash my hands, thinking that I've got to wash these brains and blood off my hand. But those are the things that bother me. And I wish I could have saved that Marine, but he's gone now.
You are a strong individual.
I was weak. I'm weak.
Brother, you shut up right now, brother. The life you have lived and again, you put everyone else first. Even right now, it is those dark thoughts. It's like, especially veterans, it's hard. If you've seen stuff, been to war, everyone glorifies war, but then reality of war is, it's hard. War is hell. And you came out the other side, and then with your family, and then you said you did therapy too. But look at you now. Look, like you came out clean on the other side. You went through hell, and it was probably a long process and journey, and you still have those moments. But look at the life you're changing now.
He didn't just get through it. He brought a lot of people with him.
Yeah.
I've read a lot of the stuff your guys have said about you. And they think,
all lies.
Yeah, right. You want to know one of the coolest things his guys said about him? One of his guys said, I heard Capers swear one time the entire time I was with him in Vietnam. The rest of the time when he was mad, he'd just call you a knucklehead. But when he called you a knucklehead, it felt like your dad and Jesus Christ called you that at the same time.
Yeah.
Cody, you want to borrow my ghost bed pillow?
Does it smell like you? Yes.
Do you feel that cooling technology?
It's definitely not a hot pillow.
I gotta get out of here.
Give me my pillow. I'm the one that has to sleep here. You guys have your own houses and your own pillows. Quit touching it.
All right, real question. Can the gang do a pillow fight?
Not with these. They're fucking
A
heavy.
slow
It'll
motion
hurt.
pillow fight?
No, they're heavy. It'll hurt.
Are they really?
Yes, they're premium.
Dude, that would actually
That
suck.
actually, I don't think I'd want to get smacked with that.
I'm swinging it hard, okay?
Your son, you walk up and just tee off on your kid.
If I smack you with this, you're going to be a ghost.
And get this.
They're built to last with a 20-year warranty, and they have a 3-month free trial period.
What do they do with all the used mattresses that get returned?
Not black lights.
They have a complete sleep setup.
For spooky sex. Boo.
GHOSTBED has it all. Adjustable bases, sheets, pillows, and full bundles to upgrade your whole bed.
With over 20 years of sleep expertise.
Which is really amateur hour. I've been sleeping for at least 30 years.
Family owned and handcrafted in the USA and Canada.
Ew.
Ew.
Canada.
And trusted by thousands of happy sleepers. Like Cody. Brandon. keep that. And Nick.
Yep.
They have over 60,000 5-star reviews. And you get an extra 10% off when you use code UNSUBSCRIBE at checkout.
Head over to ghostbed.com/unsubscribe to get started.
That's ghostbed.com/unsubscribe.
Use the code unsubscribe to sleep better and stay cooler.
I don't even know what story. Like, you have a silver star with the device.
Yeah, Silver Star.
Bronze
that-
Star, Purple Heart. Yeah.
Yeah, 3 purple. Like, this is so stacked over here.
Yeah.
Like, just zoom in on that rack right there. You're like, oh, man, this dude has been through it.
Yeah.
And then being Force Recon at the same time in Vietnam is wild. And the mission, it's wild reading that mission or even hearing glimpses of your story. It's like, oh, hey, with a knife. Oh, hey, like this happened. And then also that mission leading up to, I think that was the Silver Star with the, where you broke your legs and everything. Was that mission or is that a separate mission?
No, that's the Melavana mission
That's,
in a place called Fulak.
you want
And,
to talk? Would you
Yeah,
be open
yeah,
to
that's a-
telling that story?
Sure. Fulak was a place in Vietnam. It was my last combat mission. We're going to go home now. We've been deployed almost a year. So now we survived this. It was a 5-day mission. And when I got the mission, Dorosky, which was my point man, I left him behind because he'd been with me, and I picked up a guy named Nicola, who was huge. Nick had 20-inch arms and a 50-inch chest, and he could carry the M60 machine gun with one hand. So I took him along.
That's a strong dude.
Yeah, he's a big guy. Yeah, he's a big guy. And I took him along. I had a kid named Stanton who survived it, but he got hit real bad, lost a kidney, and he's still alive in Louisiana. So the team, all of them are gone now, except Stanton and Dorosky. We went out on a mission. We went out at night, and we crossed the rice paddies. We ran into some of the bad guys. We smoked them, killed them all. Then we went into with another group, and to try to help them out. I think that was 1st Battalion, 3rd Marines. And we went in, and all hell broke loose. And we called in artillery, and they dropped them in. They gave us 50 meters grace. In other words, I told them, give me that 50 meters because don't drop them on me. So they did. They started walking them back toward me, and they were keeping the bad guys from attacking us. So they dropped them in about 50 meters, and then I called in airstrikes. We fought for 3 days. and we killed as many as we could. My point man, Nicola, he lost his leg. My wood dog, King, he killed 2. He jumped on this Vietnamese and he grabbed his throat and ripped it out, and then he grabbed his groin. He killed 2 of them. And we got Nick out. He was a huge guy. Then everybody was wounded, the whole team. But that was one of the greatest days of heroism and combat, that I saw. Our last mission, they fought for 3 days, and they were good. They were good. I mean, I did the best I could. When I got home, I had 3 rounds of ammunition left. I'd gone through all the ammunition that I had, and my right leg was broken to the point where I couldn't hardly stand up, and the blood was flowing down into my boots. But I used my rifle, best I could, and the helicopter dropped in and landed. It was a small helicopter and dropped in out of the sky. The other one was flying, suppressing fire. And I got my team there and my dog's body, all wounded. Got everybody on the aircraft. I didn't get on. Take my men home. I figured some way I'll make it. They got all my guys on, and then a helicopter had tried to lift off, and it wouldn't make it. So the crew chief grabbed me and he pulled me on as they were trying to get up, pulled me on. But it was struggling, so I jumped off and get my troops home. That's what I was thinking about. Matter of fact, one time I was talking to a group, and I told a story about getting my guys home, and my wife said, "Did you think about me? Did you think about you trying to get home?" I said, "No, it didn't matter at that time." She didn't speak to me for 2 days.
Pissed Dottie off real quick.
But my guys all on the aircraft now, and they pulled me on. We went up about 12 feet, and it dipped, and it went south and landed in the hospital yard. And they took my bodies. Well, the one guy who was there at the hospital, he reached King, my dog, by the collar and pulled him off, and King hit the ground. And I told the corpsman, I said, "Hey, pick him up and carry him. Don't drag him." He said, "Well, the damn dog is dead." I said, "Yeah, but carry him." And I had my M16 across me, and I told him, if you don't pick him up and carry him, I'll kill you right now. And I pointed my M16 at him. I only had 3 rounds, but I mean, how many rounds you got. You had 20 rounds in these magazines, so I always knew pretty much how much I got. And I had 3 rounds left, but I didn't kill him. I didn't kill him.
He carried him. I'm
He carried the dog
really quickly on that.
He carried the dog in, and that's the last time I saw King. He took us all in, and the doctor came in to me. I asked him, "How was my men?" He said, "They're all going to live." And I thanked him. He was a young doctor. He had sad eyes. I looked at his eyes. He had sad eyes, and he'd been crying. Young guy. And I was lying there, and he looked at me, and he said, "Lieutenant, I got good news and I got bad news." He said, "It looks like you're going to live. Look like you're going to live." And I said, "Well, Doc, that's good news. So what's the bad news?" He said, he's going to take off my right leg. He said, "Gangrene's going to set in, and it'll probably kill you." And so that was the worst thing I ever heard. Take off my right leg. I was just so damn disappointed. And And he left the room. I'm lying there. I mean, what the hell's going on? But at least I knew I was going to live. That was a question mark at first. I was kind of wondering, is this it? But he came back in and said that if he could get me to forget where he said, Da Nang or wherever it was, he might be able to save that leg. And then he came back in and said, they're going to take me to Japan. And they did. They flew me to Japan. And from Japan, they took me to Alaska. It was cold as hell. They took us off the aircraft to refuel it. I was lying out there on the tarmac. It was raining. It was 10 degrees below zero. It was snowing. And I was shivering, coming out of a jungle area. And they picked me up, picked the stretcher up. And I was the last man to get on. And I looked back to make sure that nobody had been forgotten. I want to make sure all my men was on the aircraft. You know, leave me out, but take my guys. It was always my guys. And they came out, got me, and put me on the aircraft. It took us 5 days to get home. You know, from the combat zone to stops along the way, and they took me to took me to Alaska and getting home. Then we finally made it to Bethesda Hospital, and I spent a year there, learning to walk, learning to get rid of the anger that I felt. You know, I didn't trust anybody. I didn't want anybody behind me. You know, I don't even trust these guys here. They look like they robbed banks.
It's fair.
It's the tattoo.
Fair enough.
Branded because he's Mexican.
Yeah. Also, fair enough.
How long after that was that picture taken?
Oh, yeah. I came home as an officer, and they sent me to Marine Barracks, Fort Meade. And the Marine Corps at that time, or the military, was trying to bring more minorities in the Marine Corps, and they weren't doing very well. So I got a call from the secretary. They sent me to Marine Barracks, Fort Meade, as an officer. Then the Secretary of the Navy called me and told me I'd been selected to head up a campaign to get more African Americans and minorities into the Marine Corps as officers, or just get them in. And I said, well, Mr. Secretary, you know, however you think we ought to do this thing, I'll help out best where I can. He said, I've got a program going now where we're going to make you a superstar. I said, what the hell is that, Mr. Secretary? And he said, well, we got a company, the J. Walter Thompson Company in New York, and they came down for 3 days, and they took 600 pictures. They had me on a golf course. And I mentioned the sad part about this whole thing is the guy who was holding me up in the rear. I couldn't hardly walk, but I was standing there, and this Marine there was talking to me.
The one in the back left of the photo. Yeah. It's probably better on the big one.
Yeah, show the big one, Eli.
Yeah. Right there.
So the gentleman right
He was holding me up because I couldn't stand, and he was saying to me,
Right here, Brandon, can you hold it?
Yeah.
That way,
Yeah.
same shot.
you know,
So that gentleman there.
yeah, I heard him say, Lieutenant, it's okay. I got you. And he had his hand in my back. You know, my legs had been broken, and, you know, I didn't really want to be there. But I told the secretary, Navy secretary, that I'd do what I could. But the kid there, he didn't make it. He died. Then the demons come home again. And I couldn't make sense of it all. You know, I come home from this war zone, and then the boy is holding me up, saying, "It's okay, Lieutenant. I got you." I still hear him today. He helped me stand up because they had me all dressed up in my blues, blue uniform. When I went to Quantico to get the officer's uniform, they told me no. He said, "You don't look much like an officer." I was skin and bones. My skin was scarred, and they said, "Well, go home and come back." I was turned down from getting the uniform that I'd earned in Vietnam. My wife was in the car. When we went to the car, she said, "You okay?" I said, "Yeah." I didn't get the uniform. They were very expensive uniforms, but I was enlisted, man. Now I'm an officer. I got to do all this stuff officers do. She said, "That's okay. We'll go home, and I'm going to fatten you up. And we're coming back. We're coming back." And we did. And we did. And I came back, and they took me in and measured me, and they got the uniform out, and I looked in the mirror. I didn't recognize that person. That was not me. But they had about 3 or 4 guys that were measuring and doing all these kind of things, and with this historical Marine Corps uniform. Now I've got it on me. And what do I do now? I've got it. I went back to Fort Meade, where I was stationed at the Army base, and they took me to a golf course along with some Marines there, and they had me marching around with that uniform on, and they took 600 pictures, and this is the one they decided to go with. I believe it's called Ask a Marine.
How was that the first time seeing that and knowing the impact, especially at that time? Because as you said, it's like you're going to be a superstar, and you're like, what even is that?
You're the face of the Marine Corps for a minute.
Mm-hmm.
You're the face of the Marine Corps for a minute. What'd that feel like?
Yeah, well, it took me a while to understand it because I was a wounded warrior. I could hardly stand up. And the uniform didn't, I only weighed 122 pounds, a little bit more than that. So it was, and they decided to discharge me from the Marine Corps. They said I wasn't going to be able to be a Marine anymore. And I'd been a Marine since I was a teenager. What happens now? I got a wife and I got a son. They're going to kick me out. And then I got a letter from the Commandant of the Marine Corps, and he said he's going to keep me. Said my combat record was exemplary, and I'm going to stay in the Marine Corps. And I stayed in, and I made first lieutenant. Eventually, I made captain, and they sent me to Europe, as a commander of a Marine detachment on the aircraft carrier. And I did that for a year and traveled the world on this aircraft carrier. But go ahead and ask me questions. What do you got?
I'm loving, brother. You are. I'm going to adjust this just a little closer for you. You are.
So you married for 50 years to your high school sweetheart.
Yeah.
What's the best advice you got to a young guy that looking to get married and have a happy marriage for 50 years like you did?
When she asks if you thought of her, lie.
Well, I think we were driving around. I'd gotten out of the hospital, and we were driving around one Sunday afternoon, and there was a little Volkswagen that was beeping behind us, so Daddy pulled over, and it was a guy that I met in Vietnam, and he was, hey, Jim Capers. He recognized me, and I pulled over, and he said, I don't live but a mile down the road. Come down. And I went to his house, Dottie and I. We had dropped the baby off at the school, Maryland School for the Blind. And I went to his home, and at first he said he thought I was dead. The word was around that I didn't make it, but obviously I did. Then he started telling the stories about in country, and Dottie heard all these stories, and we had a good afternoon. Then on the way home, I think I told a story about, I forget what it was, but Dottie said that I didn't know you, or I had a chance to come home. When I was in the hospital, they told me that because of my wounds, you know, I could get sent home. But I couldn't do that. My men were still there. We'll still have some still alive. And when I was there at the hospital there, now in country, when I was wounded, I told the corpsman to get on the phone and call my unit. Instead of going home, I got a Jeep and it sent me back to my unit. I couldn't go home, you know, because my men were still there. And when I told that story, you know, Dottie said, well, you said you loved me in all those letters, and you had a chance to come home, and you stayed. And I told her, well, these Marines were like my sons, and I couldn't leave them. She said, yeah, but I'm your wife. You said you loved me. I said, yeah, I did love you, but at that time I didn't. I loved my troops, and that caused a problem. You know, she didn't speak to me for a while, but we got through that. But it was just PTSD. Those guys meant so much to me, and the only two of us still alive now. And I did the best I could to keep them alive. You know, I swam with them, I fought with them, I climbed mountains with them. I sweated out in those jungles that was 100 degrees. I killed snakes.
You caught snakes.
Yeah. Captured and interrogated snakes.
And then made a duck kill a snake.
That made it crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, we came face to face with a Asian tiger.
Oh.
And the Dorosky.
It's just a tiger that can do math.
I got me.
Right.
It has one of the map.
It's like a normal tiger, but with an abacus.
Roar. Holy shit.
Yeah. He was huge.
Yeah, cats don't mess around. That is.
Yeah.
Also, Brandon, this confirmed this during the big 3-day firefight. You guys ran out of ammo at one point. You had to have ammo resupplied during the firefight.
Yeah.
I was thinking that because the combat loadout for 3 days, that's a stretch. Like that's got to be tough.
How many you threw? I read it, and the amount of ammo, but like how many grenades did you end up even throwing?
I threw 20 on the. I threw 20.
We would have got along in war.
Yeah. Yeah, the problem was sometimes you would throw a grenade and it either didn't go off or it hit a tree and it might bounce back. So we threw a lot of grenades and hoping that you'd kill enough enemy soldiers that they would back off. And, you know.
They don't.
Yeah. There were a lot of, I won't say a lot of guys, but there were some who, didn't pull the pin or just threw it and hit something and bounced back. A lot of casualties. But I carried about 20, and I threw them all in that every one of them. I had 3 rounds of ammunition left. We fought for 3 days, and they resupplied me on the second day.
What we were talking about a little bit beforehand was you were issued the original M16.
Yeah.
And you also had your 9mm, which you said was a FN Browning high power.
Yeah.
No shit.
Yeah.
And you actually
I want to say Zach even brought up you even used your actual sidearm in combat during that, which is for now, like at GWAT, I'm sure you've talked to a couple GWAT veterans, but it's so rare to. Most of us don't have a sidearm unless you're an officer. But then I'd never seen one get used in service, especially in combat. We were just like shooting. We do the mark. Why I say we get along, it's like one firefight. I don't even think I talked about on here, but we did in one exchange. I think we fired 22 or 20 HEB grenades, like from the M203, and we laid down a lot of hate during that firefight. But it was like open field, and we were just, as you said, you're just hoping that they leave or they pull away, and then when they stick and fight, it becomes an actual engagement.
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken, the sidearm was in the same. It was 2 people with a sidearm and 1 with a knife in that one engagement, or am I wrong on that?
Well, I killed the first one with a knife, and Frank is over there saying, and maybe I shouldn't tell these stories. I don't know.
Frank, it's your call.
With you guys, I think he could tell it.
If as long as it's okay with you and these stories, it's you were in the midst of combat. You went through hell and you came out on the other side, and now you are helping people. But it also, a lot of people don't understand what war is like, or when you're like, oh, it's war, it's hell. That it doesn't do justice to what you go through mentally in those situations, or taking a human life. It's like this, and it's also you're fighting for your life. You're fighting for your brothers. That's all that matters at that point. You're not thinking about that little shit. You're just like, I have to protect these people. I have to get them home, and I have to get home too.
But totally, you guys call on that front.
Well, we were coming back from a mission at a place called Quezon, and we run up on some bad guys, and I grabbed the first one, sneaked up on him, and I grabbed it by his mouth, and I took my knife and I cut his throat. Then I ripped him down, and blood gushed from everywhere, and I killed him. And then I saw, before I killed him, I had killed 3 with my M16. And I cut his throat, and then I took my 9mm, and there was 2 others, and I shot the first one. I hit him, double shot, bam, bam, and he fell. Then there was another one come running over, and I shot him. So the one I killed with my knife, and the 2 right there, I killed a bunch of them in just a matter of minutes. They didn't know we were there. And when we jump on guys, we kill everybody.
That should be.
Now, my chief of staff over there, Frank, he thinks that I shouldn't tell these gory stories. Like my niece is sitting there thinking, oh, Uncle Jay, I never heard that.
And I think a lot, even when we had like Don or the World War II veterans at Iwo Jima, hearing him tell that story, he's like, he's like, well, got my flamethrower, had to you just kill.
Yeah.
Don't have a choice.
Yeah, it's not, that's the best way to say it. You're in war. It's not a choice. It is survival.
Right.
That is the only way you're going to get home. That is the only way you're going to get your buddies home, is that. And using a knife, guess what? Is day or night, if you sneak up on somebody and you're trying to do it quick and efficient, it's like, hey, I can't give away my position. So it's boom, let's act now. Force Recon, I guarantee you trained very much so on that surprise element, and then violence of action or violence of force.
We got a mission from the CIA to go into a POW camp. We had some American POWs that had been captured and was being held, and my team was selected to go in there by the CIA and get them out. So we trained for a week or so, and they dropped us into the camp. We're not in the camp, but a little ways from it, and then we had to walk to the camp. And we killed the guards, and all hell broke loose, and some of their reinforcements came in, but we didn't get the POWs. We were out there for about 4 days, getting to the camp and looking for the POWs, American POWs. Now, they had some other prisoners there, and we were led to the camp. The CIA gave me a guy named Lap. Lap had been in the camp, and the North Vietnamese thought that he was too easy on the Americans, so they put him in the camp, teach him a lesson. And Lap escaped and was picked up by our guys in the CIA. They brought him to me. So I kept Lap with me, and he went into the camp. We repelled in, and we were trying to find the CIA said they probably were the POWs was probably in the middle camp. We got to the first one and we killed the guards, but we didn't see any POWs. Then their reinforcements come in. We killed all of them. So we're thinking, how the hell are we going to get out of here? We're in the middle of the jungle, and we don't have any POWs. And so they decided to get us out of there. So they dropped the hoist down. So we had to get into the hoist and be lifted up one at a time. So I got everybody in the hoist, and the helicopter is moving around, and everybody is shooting, and I got them all in, and I was the last man to get in the hoist. I wanted to make sure nobody's left on the ground, so I got my hoist in, and the chopper was moving around, and I got my foot in a hole, and I had the horse around me. When you think about God, those were the times that I knew that God was there, and I was the only one on the ground. And who was putting the horse around me? Because everybody had gone. And Sergeant Yerman yelled back down to me, "Hey, if you get hit, I'll come back and get you." Then he left, so I'm on the ground by myself now. And I'm stuck there. My foot had got into a hole. But then I figured that somehow I got out of the hole and my horse was on me. God did that. God was with me. He helped me get that horse on. And I took off up in the air, and they were firing, and my guys unloaded from the helicopter. The helicopter was mostly smoke because they were just shooting on the ground. And I got hit. I got hit in the face, and my head exploded. God damn. And then my right eye closed, and they pulled me up, and my SEAL corpsman pulled me in, and I was alive, but I wasn't quite sure. I thought, boy, this is it. It hurt like hell. My whole face swelled up, and they laid me down in a helicopter. Then we flew back, and they dropped us off at the hospital. So I was in the hospital now, and they told me they were going to send me home. I said, "Doc, I can't go home. I got to stay with my troops." He said, "No, but you can't hardly see, and your body's not in good enough shape, so we're going to send you home." And when they left, I called a corpsman, young black kid. I say, "Partner, get me a Jeep." He said, "What do you want a Jeep for, sir?" I said, "Get me the Jeep." He come back with his Jeep, and I got in the Jeep and went back to my unit.
You acquired a Jeep just...
Yeah, what a Jeep. Well, and I got to my unit. I stayed with them. They had moved up to Quezon. And I had a bandage on my eye, but I could see. And I figured I'll get to Quezon, and I'll stay with my troops. If I'm going to die, I'll die fighting with my troops. I went to Quezon. But before I went to Quezon, one of my guys says, hey, Lieutenant, I got a flight going to Hong Kong. Would you like to go? I said, yeah, what the hell? I don't mind. So I got on a plane, went to Hong Kong, and yeah,
I don't mind.
What'd you do in Hong Kong?
Yeah, that's just, my niece is here. I don't want to tell that story. I don't want to tell that story. Yeah, it was interesting, but I spent 5 days there.
R&R.
But the British owned Hong Kong at that time. But there was an assassination attempt on my life. I never told her these stories. Her son graduated from MIT.
Dang.
Yeah.
You don't look old enough to have a son graduating from MIT.
Yeah.
MIT?
MIT. Yeah.
Good job, Mom.
So,
Good job.
how long was Lap with you guys? Because I remember hearing another story that you had him sleeping in your tent with you.
Yeah.
And he went out to use the restroom one night, and you were worried the Marine guards were going to shoot him because
Yeah.
they'd think he was a NVA spy.
You know, Lap was 19 years old, young guy, and the CIA had given him to me, so I kept him in my tent with me. And he knew some English. And when I got a picture from my wife, I showed it to him. And he laughed, you know, and we had fun talking about things that he could talk about. And I asked him why did he escape from the POW camp that he put him in. And he said he was tired of being in North Vietnam. He wanted to, you know, the Americans were helping the South Vietnamese. So he wanted to come to South Vietnamese so he could enjoy all the things that the Americans had. We had a lot of stuff. And he wasn't getting anything in the POW camp, so he escaped. CIA picked him up, so I got him now, and he wanted to talk about America, but you know, a little bit of English he had, and he thought that we had everything, all the food in the world, and these type of things. And I said, yeah, America's worth fighting for. And I gave him a rifle. Didn't put the ammunition in it. I was a little concerned because I don't know. This guy might turn on us. But I thought I had him. He would sleep there with me, and you know, sometime I'd wake up just to check on him. And at night, when he got up, went to the head, and I thought that they were going to kill him. So I went and got him and told him, "Hey, Lap, don't wake me up. Let me." And he said, "But you were tired. You know, we've been training all day." So I was a little tired, so he thought he would go by himself rather than wake me up. But when we were at the camp, the POW camp, I made sure I got him in a horse to get him out of there. And I think somebody somewhere along the line said, well, if you were trying to get in the aircraft, why you leave him behind? Couldn't do that. You know, he trusted me and I trusted him. You know, I just thought that the time we spent together and what he said about the picture that I sent to him, you know, I think he could have been any American teenager. He would have done well here in America, but he never got a chance. Now, when we brought him back, I gave him back to the CIA, and I wonder whatever happened to Lap. I wished I could have brought him home. You think about these things, you know, but we survived it, POW operation, and came back empty-handed. We grieved for a few days that we went through all this training and kill all those NVA. We didn't get the Americans. But We have made a good effort.
Did a really good effort. What is one of your most proud moments as a Marine? What is one moment during either war, back at training, or with your guys where you're like, this is when I was the most proud?
Well, a lot of moments. At my age, I'm 88 years old. I fought 2 wars. I have 19 holes that I bled from. I spent time in the Middle East, but there are a lot of moments that I was proud of. You know, I was a family man too. I had a son. I was proud of him because he was born blind, and he learned to play the piano, the flute, the melodica, the organ. Whoa. He could write in Braille, and I was so proud of him. He died in my arms. I was holding him when he closed his eyes. Died of appendicitis. I sued the federal government, and I won the case. I went to court. I told them that my son should not have died. You failed him. And they paid me a lot of money. I won the court case. And, I took that money and I I gave a lot to charity and things like that. Then I went to California. And that's when I did the documentary and all those things. But it wasn't the money on my son. I was so proud of him because he learned to do a lot of things. You know, I missed him so much. He's buried up in Arlington with my wife and my son, or with him. Buried up in Arlington, and there's a place for me.
What's your son's name?
Gary.
Gary. That sounds like an amazing individual.
Yeah, he was good. He was good.
Guys, your parenting also, just to have a blind kiddo still crush life like that, learn piano. I can't play a single instrument, so he's leagues above me. That's amazing.
Well, you're talking about the most important parts in my life. My God, there are times that, like when I was given to a white family, when I got sick, had some sort of childhood sickness, and my folks who were farmers, somehow they must have had some connection with that family. They were probably the owners of the farm, and they took me in, as the story goes. I mean, I don't know for sure, but that's the story that was passed down to me by my aunts and uncles, who all pretty much lived together, and must have helped me out. I lived and got to Baltimore, and then went to school and joined the military. So collectively, that's a proud moment for me. But when you say the most proud, it's hard to say because I've had a lot of proud moments and a lot of folks that, a lot of folks that impacted my life. And I would not be here had it not been for, say, Sergeant Yerman, who was my platoon sergeant. He covered my ass more than once. When we run up on that tiger. Tigers at that time, when they heard the combat, they would search out these areas and they would eat the bodies that were left behind. Yeah, but anyway.
Tigers would be terrifying. Large cats in general are terrifying.
Yeah.
Tigers are the worst, though.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Like 700 pounds.
Large. What? Tell us about the book. You wrote this. When did you write this? How long ago did it come out? Because this is...
I think it came out in 2018. Yeah, I wrote this. Some of it based on the letters that I wrote home to Dottie. And I wrote a second one that's a little bit more personal. But this book, Faith Through the Storm, I don't know, I just named it that. And it talked about, going to war And there's some things in here that, I think that you could learn from. This is a young family man going to war to defend my country. And in some places in the United States, I couldn't get a drink of water at that time. I couldn't walk up to a fountain and get a drink of water. They had white and colored. I couldn't sit in a bus. There were things that, that I couldn't do because that's the way the country was. At that time, you couldn't vote and all those things. So there was a lot of racism, but I figured that's not going to stop me. And a lot of the units I was in, I saw racism, but, like nobody thought I could swim. I made 3 combat dives in defense of this country. I swam miles and miles. I taught Marines to swim. So I was defying the odds. Folks said I would never make it as an officer. I made it to major and got selected for lieutenant colonel. But, those are things that, in spite of what folks thought that I could not do as an African American, I could do. All I wanted was an opportunity. Just give me a chance. Don't say that I can't do it because of the color of my skin. I could do it, but now when I got the chance, damn it, I had to get it done. You can't sit back and say, well, I'm here. I fought in a year in those damn jungles. I fought in Lebanon in 1958, killed my first human being in the mountains.
What was it that your dad told you that you always remembered?
Yeah, if 10 men start up a flight of steps, you believe that you'll be the one that get to the top. You have to believe that. There's a lot of things that my father was not an educated man. Neither was my family. We were farmers. But he had a philosophy. And I didn't know my grandparents. Never met them. But in the family, I'm sure we were descendants of slaves. That's probably the way it was. They came from Africa and landed here in this country. I went to a place called Bishopville where I was born a couple of years ago. And that's where the slaves came in, South Carolina from Africa. And you read the stories of how they were treated. All that is documented now. They've got a museum down in South Carolina that talks about how the slaves came from Africa and became slaves and learned to survive. And my family is a part of that. And I don't have memories of that. I wasn't born then, but they're descendants. Like, I didn't know my grandparents. I know who they were, but I was just told that. And like this child here, she's learning because we carry that history as best we can. I don't have it all, but I do remember certain things. Didn't know my grandparents, but I'm sure their grandparents were probably slaves and whatever, or descendants of slaves. But in spite of all of that, I became the best that I could be.
And having that opportunity here to record this history, to be able to pass down, it's a major honor to be able to have you here, to be able to share all of that.
You're never a victim, which is you just crush life no matter what adversity you faced. You're like, I'm going to be the best at this. I'm going to crush it, and I'm going to come out on top and then lead from the front. And you do like proper leadership. It's like you'll be the first one on the battlefield, last one to leave.
Yeah.
And you care about your guys, and holy shit, is that so f***ing awesome.
I still hear from him. I had one the other day come up from Georgia and brought his wife and his daughter. Came up and spent the day with me. I get flowers. I get calls from troops that I fought with that survived, not many of them. But it's wonderful for me at my age to think back and know that I did the best I could, because I feared no man. I didn't fear anybody. I fought at day and night, and I swam the oceans. I didn't get that fear because I knew that I was a Marine. I was the best there was. God damn it. You're not going to defeat Jim Capers. You can't do that. No. No, you can't do that. I'm in a damn wheelchair. God damn it. Frank is wheeling me around. But it wasn't always this way. I ran from Philadelphia to Camp Lejeune, 550 miles.
Why? That's so far.
I don't know. Just say, let's go do that. Yeah, we did that, and we survived it.
Well, I think here in front of us, we've got a pretty detailed account of exactly how hard you were to kill.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Also, that boa constrictor hella big.
Oh, there's a picture of it in there?
Yeah.
big ass snake.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, for those who are watching this that want to read more about your story, where can they find your books?
Frank has a bunch of them.
Frank does have a lot of, but you can also.
Frank's phone number is.
But you can order them on Amazon Prime.
Okay, so these are on Amazon then.
Yeah. Mhm.
Perfect. Okay.
Amazon Prime, Faith Through the Storm. Oh, brother, I can't stress
Thank you.
how thankful we are for you to be here. I will have Nick
I'm
close
sorry,
this out.
hold
but-
on.
wait,
I have a
okay,
question.
Hold on.
This picture says Gomer number 2.
Yeah. Well, Gorman number 1, we caught down in Panama.
There was a second snake.
That was the first snake.
Sir, a second snake?
Yeah, we caught Gorman number 1 down in Panama. And we brought him home. And then we decided to take him up to the zoo in Washington. And he died on the way up. It was cold, and he died on the way up. He didn't make the trip to the museum.
How big was this one?
He was about 17 feet. We caught him in Panama. Yeah, we got him.
Just rolling up on big ass snakes. I'm keeping this.
That's what's wild to me. You're like,
Yoink.
guys, I got an idea. Oh, the most crazy
you
is
don't know
still
what snakes and canoes have in common?
I'm taking them.
getting to base and be like, can we borrow the helicopter? The big ass snakes out there. And they're like, and then, yeah. Everyone agreed to it. I know, everyone agreed to it.
Just dudes being dudes.
Yeah, right. It was a wild time up on that mountain out there at Tucson. They hit us one night with 122 rockets. And I wasn't sick, but I wasn't able to move like I would normally move. So I was in my rack. We had some little cots there you laid on, and I could hear the artillery coming in. I could hear some of the buildings being crashed. I'm lying there, and Sergeant Yerman hit the door, and he said, "Lieutenant, get out of here." I said, "I can't move." And he left. And another building got hit by a rocket, and I figured, oh, gee, they were trying to walk these rockets in. And I'm lying there, and I could hear them being walked on the other side. And Sergeant Yerman came in. Said, "Lieutenant, you all right?" I said, "No, I came over." So he came over to me. This is Sergeant Yerman, my platoon sergeant, came over to me. And he sat down on my rack. I said, "Sarge, you got to get out of here. They're getting close. You better get out of here." One of the bravest things I ever saw or heard, he sat down on my rack, and he took my hand. He said, "Lieutenant, I'm with you. I'm with you. I said, Sarge, you need to get out of here. They're getting close. He said, well, if I got to die, let me die with the only friend I ever had. And the lights went out. He sat there with me. He died in Arizona last year, alone. They found him dead in his tent. But he was a hero, my platoon sergeant. And what he said to me that day, if I have to die, let me die with the only friend I ever had. But we survived it. We survived it. And he survived it. Then we didn't see each other for many years. And then I hired a company to locate him. And he was living by himself in a mountain in Arizona. And I flew out there and lived with him in his little hut there for 2 weeks. I caught pneumonia while I was there. My wife said, you know, you shouldn't be going out there, it's cold. But I went to see my platoon sergeant. Yeah, and he's gone now. Matter of fact, I gave him that high-power pistol that I brought home from Vietnam. But anyway, those were powerful moments for me and my memories because he was a hero.
I will, if I can, and I asked the guys too, it was, if there's any of the guys that are still around with your team that you ever want to just fly out or have them fly out to see you, we will cover that.
Yeah.
We will cover their hotel and their travel to come visit you and hang out. I will let you know that if you guys have any of the people he's with, that I'm speaking for the community and all of us, we would love to cover something like that.
Least we can do. We appreciate your time.
I've never heard anything quite like that. No, I've got Corporal Stanton, who's my M79 man, and he got hit real bad. And matter of fact, when he got hit, he fell back on me. I was already kind of banged up, leaning up against a tree. And I reached around him to take off his dog tags because I thought he was dead. And blood was coming out of his mouth and his nose. And I said, Corporal, we're going to get out of here. He said, I don't know, Lieutenant, I don't think we're going to make it this time. I said, yeah, we will. We're going to get out of here. He said, yeah, we're going to get out. And another bravest thing I ever heard, he said, hand me a rifle, sir. I can still fight. Just hand me a rifle. I can still fight. He's lying on me, and my corpsman ran over and jumped on me, and he said, Lieutenant, you've been shot. I said, damn it, Doc, I know that. I'm bleeding all over the place. He gave me the news. Lieutenant, you've been shot. Well, God damn it, Doc, I know I've been shot. Get off of me. And he bandaged up what he could, put bandages on us, and he even looked at the dog, but the dog was gone, But he checked every man. Everybody was wounded. No casualties except for King, the war dog, but everybody was wounded badly. And we called in the helicopter, and they landed in the middle of chaos. But yeah, we got on, and there were so many stories about individual troops, ones that I knew, and they were like my sons, like the kid who did the mail. He'd come over sometimes, hey, Lieutenant, you got 2 letters from your wife. And when I got wounded, whatever time it was, I was in my tent, couldn't get out, and he'd come into my tent, the mailman, and bring me mail. Or sometimes the guy from the mess hall. We were out for, 4 or 5 days and didn't eat very much food. They'd bring me food for the mess hall. You hear the mess cans dangling, and they'd come in there and give me a meal. Everybody's helping each other. The Motor T guys, I had a Jeep there that I used to run around the area. They'd made sure my Jeep was always ready to go. All these, the comm guy, the radio guys, everybody was working to keep us alive in the field. And when we came back, they gave us food. Or they come back and every man was able to have one beer. You know, and when I got commissioned, I decided, well, I walked down to the officers club. So I went down to the officers club. I had never been in the officers club before. And it was different, kind of dark in there. There was a little bit of music playing. So I walked in and I looked around, all white guys, of course. They all looked at me, but they went back to doing what they were doing. I walked over to the bar and I ordered a rum and coke. And I stood there and looked around. Damn, this is the officers club. I'm an officer now. And then the door came open and this huge guy was at the door. And he started walking toward the bar, and I'm at the bar. I'm thinking, oh, shit, it's on now. He's going to say something, and I have to tear this damn place up. I'm standing at the bar, and he walked over. And he looked at me, stopped in front of me, and he looked in front of me, and I'm thinking, how do I take his throat out or something shit like that? I'm thinking about killing this guy. And
Just choosing violence first.
Well,
I
he
love
looked
it.
over to me, and he said, hey, Lieutenant, God damn, it's so good to see you. It's about time. And he shook my hand, said, let me buy you a drink. He'd never seen a black officer before. But I'm thinking about killing this son of a bitch. And just natural because he walked over at the bar and I thought it was going to be a fight. So I'm prepared to kill this guy. Because I'm good at that kind. I have a 3rd-degree black belt in karate and savate, aikido, and judo. And so
9mm.
Yeah.
It's a black belt in click pow.
Yeah, 5.56. 3rd-degree black belt, 5.56.
But the guy was a pilot, and he was so kind to me. He said, I've never seen anyone like you in this club. But he said, anytime I can help you, it's about time. And I felt foolish because I felt, I'm going to kill this guy. And
Slowly put the knife down.
yeah. So put the knife down. But, that moment, I learned something. Everybody's not bad. And here's a guy there buying me a drink and saying kind words to me. And I felt guilty because I'm the bad guy. I should not have been thinking that way. But in my whole life, I never had folks that said those kind of things to me. They were always trying to shoot me and kill me or something like that. But I learned something about how to be a gentleman, and that didn't last long. But it was a good experience for me. Welcome to a community that I had no knowledge of. I didn't know anything about being an officer. But there were people like that who learned me along the way. It's a learning experience. And I used to teach my troops. After I became a senior officer, I would teach my young officers, everybody's not bad. You got to give this guy a chance.
Man.
Well said.
This is one of my favorite ones.
Yeah, me too.
These are,
for sure.
hands down, these are, I'm speechless.
You said you weren't good at this podcast stuff before we started. You're showing all of us up is what's going on here.
This was amazing.
Happy to listen.
Yeah.
We were just locked in.
Yeah.
You
did great.
crushed it, brother. Crushed it. Nick, you ready to close this out?
Absolutely. Thank you for coming to one of and maybe my favorite episode of the Unsubscribed podcast. I was joined here today by Eli Doubletap, Major Jim Capers, Brandon Herrera, and myself. See you guys later.
Fat Electrician, not donut operator. Love
Really?
you guys.
I didn't notice.
Bye.
What, we taste the same?
Damn.